The University of California at Berkeley defines evolution as descent with modification. By descent, we are referring to genealogy, not a differing of opinion. So, evolution is a theory to explain why all life isn't homogeneous. Feinberg states evolution favors those creatures best adapted to their environment. That is the sole test of survival and success. These creatures then pass on their genes with their modifications to the next generation. Neoevolution is, according to Feinberg, the new evolution that is not simply natural, but guided and chosen by us as individuals in the choices that we will make. Wolpe adds, we're entering a third great wave of evolutionary history, whereby we are actually now intentionally designing and altering the physiological forms that inhabit our planet. So rather than the environment naturally selecting which species and which adaptations will survive to pass on their genes to the next generation, in neoevolution, it is humanity that will select which species and what adaptations will be passed to future generations. And while human influence on evolution of species has been happening since the dawn of civilization, advances in technology have propelled us into this neo-evolutionary period where modifications can occur instantly rather than over thousands of generations. Wolpe tells us it is theoretically possible that before too long we will be biotechnologically capable of creating human beings that glow in the dark, and best relates the story of the girl born with bubble boy disease, whose parents were told she would eventually succumb to the illness. In a way, you could say that she was not going to be selected by evolution to pass on her genes. But instead, she is the first case of successful gene therapy on a human being and survives to this day. These modifications that are made to live humans and could impact immediate generations. If we can alter genes, then wouldn't these genetic alterations be passed down to the offsprings of the modified? The benefits of these technologies are obvious, though. They give your offspring a better chance at a healthier life, eliminate the diabetes, eliminate the hemophilia, reduce the risk of cancer. Who doesn't want healthier children? And then that same engine of science can produce that can produce the change to prevent disease will enable us to adopt super attributes, hypercapacities, says Feinberg. And in current generations, such as the case of the girl who was the first successful case of gene therapy, we can use these technologies to extend our own lives. But this raises concerns. Feinberg asks, will we selectively choose different attributes that we want for some of us and not for others of us? Will we make a society that is more boring and more uniform, or more robust and more versatile? And Fukuyama posits political, social, and intellectual change will occur much more slowly in societies with substantially longer average lifespans, with 3 or more generations active and working at the same time. And where will these new jobs come from? Will humanity be able to sustainably harvest the natural resources necessary to support the increase to human population due to drastically fewer deaths? Ethically, decisions have to be made about what is and what is not acceptable. Wolpe states, we are now at the stage where we are creating creatures for our own purposes, and wonders, we can manipulate the plasmas of life with unprecedented power, and it confers on us a responsibility. Is everything okay? Is it okay to manipulate and create whatever creatures we want? Do we have free reign to design animals? And Feinberg asks, will we ever be able to develop the wisdom and to inherit the wisdom that will need to make these choices wisely? I'm skeptical that such wisdom will prevail even if it were developed, and I don't pretend to be an expert on any of these technologies or on ethics, but the assignment prompt demands that I take a stand on neoevolution, so I will. We often speak of human dignity or basic human rights when we discuss ethical treatment baselines. If Bess is correct and technological enhancements become the new normal, especially for the haves, We will need to have social programs in place for the have-nots as well. Our basic human rights will have to include access to enhancements for everyone, or we will have an even greater gap in wealth and widespread inequality in general. We should begin, I think, by creating a program that gives access to LASIK surgery for those in need of corrective vision. As someone who has had the procedure, I can say that not having to wear glasses is a game-changing difference. I don't have to grope around for them in the middle of the night. I don't have to worry about getting new lenses or with a new prescription every 2 years. I don't have to lose my sight when I get a face full of steam, which used to happen to me many times a day on the job. We hear the term equal opportunity often, and it is an attribute that we pride ourselves on as a free country. If we allow technological human enhancements, then the same spirit of equal opportunity must be applied. As for robotic limbs, I believe they are a great way for those with disabilities to give those with disabilities more tools to live their lives in the ways that they want. But I do think that there need to be safeguards in place to make sure that these constructs cannot be used as a weapon. Also, people who have baseline use of their limbs should not be able to replace them with better performing robotic arms and legs. I could see the argument for exceptions for military applications, but otherwise, we should not be taking this technology into the realm of elective surgery. And lastly, I want to address the notion of directed evolution on other living beings. Humans control and manipulate other species' growth and development. Wolpe mentioned that dogs have evolved completely at the hands of humans to where, as he states, there isn't a dog on this earth that is a natural creature. However, I fear that we are already miles down an unconscionable path with the advent of the factory farm. I understand and even support the idea that humans can maintain and control other living things by means of agriculture to produce food and other natural resources. But we've got to allow these living things to actually live in some semblance of a natural way. Chickens and pigs and cows should graze and wander over fields, even if they are small fields. And they shouldn't require antibiotics to defend themselves from diseases that can be present when they are so unnaturally and densely packed together. We've transitioned from the controlled, symbiotic nature of agriculture into full-on bondage. And technology is allowing humanity to foray farther into this dark territory. Creating organic robots is unethical. Depriving an insect or a rat of its autonomy may seem trivial because, after all, they don't seem to be doing anything productive with their free will anyways, because we perceive a lack of intelligence. But as technology allows us to enhance our intelligence further and further, how soon will smarter animals, dogs and monkeys and dolphins, seem like fair game for this kind of slavery? And after that, the poor humans who are unenhanced. Will we start to look at the slums and say, those wretches aren't doing anything with the small amount of intelligence they have. Why not rig them up with microchips and pilot them around dangerous areas? So this brings me back to the idea of basic human rights. Beyond just humans, I believe all living things have two basic rights. The basic right to a natural amount of autonomy. Sure, the trained dog is controlled, but it may still run away or bite the hand that feeds it. And the basic right to live a life that is in essence natural to the being. And I think it will be up to all of humanity to ensure that these rights are respected. Thank you.